Thank you for tuning in to Serendipity with Sheila, the podcast that helps you align your mission with your passion. As a universal master energy healer, Sheila can help you awaken and align with your true self so you can live the purposeful life you were made for. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Serendipity with Sheila, and I am your host, Reverend Sheila B. Tillich. And today is going to be a special time for you because I'm going to share a little bit more about myself remembering my Akashic Remembrance. And what does that mean? Well, there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to learn about me, and I'm very excited about sharing it. So let's begin. Of course, it started in my childhood when I was able to talk to the angels. I've always had an actual relationship with the angels. I was always able to hear them, see them, speak to them. And that was kind of unique because I was hard of hearing, and I am hard of hearing. And I have wore hearing aids since I went to nursing school in the 1990s. However, as a child, I was able to communicate with them. And also, I was brought up in a religious home, a Catholic home, and I was told very early as a child that I could not speak to angels or communicate with them because only God could do that. And that really instilled a guilt complex in myself about my abilities and who I am and what I'm here to do. So, yes, I have the Catholic guilt that kind of went with my childhood. However, I have gotten completely over that right now. And I do know that being a person who is hard of hearing and being brought up in a religion of Catholicism, that it was all part of me learning who I am and also where I was going on the spiritual divine path. So I'm going to talk to you about how I got here. How I got here, meaning who I am now as a Galactic Grandmother. And what does that mean? So, and I always like to say the word so. So, I'm going to talk to you about my Akashic Remembrance. And what does that mean? Well, Akashic is about the lifetimes that you've lived in human form, and also about your lifetimes you've had in other dimensions. So that's kind of a weird thing to say right now, but a lot of people are starting to awaken to this remembrance of who they really are. They're Akashic divineness as souls. And this is exactly what happened to me. As a child, I said a profound thing to my mother, and I reflect back now on it. And I was about 6 years old, and we lived in Tucson, Arizona at the time. And I come from a family of 8 children. So I was actually in the car with my mother, and I was the only child in the car. Can you imagine that? The only child out of 8 children in the car with my mother. And we were in this big old Woody station wagon in Las Vegas. And I said to my mom, I said, Mommy, where did we come from? How did we get here? And who are we? And my mother did a very profound thing herself. She pulled the car over, turned off the engine, turned around, and she said to me, Honey, I don't know. I don't know who we are and where we came from. Now, when I think about that, that was a profound thing for a child to ask the mother, and a very honest reply from a mother. But you know, my soul knew who I was and knew that I was here on purpose, and I had a mission, and I was to actually live that message. I didn't know how as a little girl, but I knew the angels had a lot to do with it, and yes, they do. So on this journey, as a child, being able to talk to angels and hear them, but I couldn't tell anybody, I kind of hid my abilities as I started growing up. And all through my early adulthood, I always knew the angels were there. However, I didn't acknowledge them until 1985 when I said, it's time. It's time for me to actually be honest and start to realize and acknowledge my ability to be in the spiritual realm and to start feeling things and noticing things. And I really started to remember as a child that love that the angels had for me. So from 1985 until now, I've always been a student. I want to learn everything I can about who I am as a soul. And through this journey of learning, I was able to find out more about the metaphysical, meaning things that are unseen and how that applies to my life. I knew I was spiritual, and I knew there was more to the story. And so, in my journey, I have developed my skills. And one of the ways I did that is I became a metaphysical minister in 2017. I actually went to school for metaphysics and got a degree in metaphysics and as an ordained minister. This is very important to me because it helped me understand the energy that I was feeling as a child and what did it mean in my everyday life and how do I use this? So I need to go back to 1985 when I started to awaken. This was a profound time for me, and between 1985 to 1993, I started healing. I started asking God to help me in all different areas of my life. And I was able to go to nursing school in 1993. I went to nursing school to be a nurse midwife. However, I had an accident in school and I ended up was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And this actually started my own healing process. Understanding how I came down with fibromyalgia and what was the reasons for it. And I decided that I was going to start self-healing myself. And through this, that's exactly what I did. I started learning more about the frequency in the field and how it affects the body, how the electromagnetic field, the physical part of your body, and all the dis-ease in the body that happens in the frequency field. What I learned was that fibromyalgia was an emotional disorder that went inside and caused many different symptoms of the body. So I started self-healing myself. And along with that, my divineness started to awaken. My Akashic Remembrance started. I started taking courses on how to become a healer. I also became an evidential medium and actually was certified to be able to do all this and learn many, many other modalities. But the one that resonated the most with me was integrated energy therapy because it dealt with the angels. The angels came and did the healing. I already had a relationship with the angels, and I knew that they were divinely sent to help me to start living my soul's purpose. I did this by starting to get in touch with the patterns and the actual negative things that influenced me in my life, the programming that I had, my limiting patterns of life and how I dealt with life. IET is about the issues in your tissues on a cellular level, which means things that keep you stuck. So I really resonated with IET and it really helped me start this healing journey. But there was more healing and teaching that I needed. And God sent many other modalities to me and also many other opportunities. Many people that mentored me in the spiritual realm. At this time is when I started my own healing practice. And at the time it was called White Dove Healing. And my practice evolved around my actual healing myself and how I did that and how I could help other people by sharing all that I've gone through, by all the obstacles and all the challenges in my life, and to give them hope and direction that they could live a more fulfilling life, a life filled with joy and purpose. And that's exactly what happened to me. Living my life, I was able to start helping others. And it has been a very, very wonderful, blessed journey that I've been on. About this time in 2014, I found out about a channeler called Cryon. The person that channels Cryon is named Lee Carroll. And Lee Carroll wrote the book Indigo Child in 1998 with his first wife, Jan Tolbert. And I said, oh my goodness, I know about the Indigo Children. I read his book. And so then I really started investigating who Lee Carroll was and who he was channeling Cryon. You see, I was very skeptical. Coming from nursing medical background, I wanted proof that this was real. I had encountered many in the metaphysical world or the spiritual world that weren't real, that they were just doing voodoo stuff. Woo-woo stuff meaning evil stuff that I was taught as a child. What I learned about Lee Carroll and all of his Cryon events was that they were all based on science and spirituality. As soon as I learned that and I started listening and did know that they were scientifically based, then I knew that I was home. I resonated with science, and I surely resonated with spirituality. And I knew that God placed me here to do my work, to be part of the Cryon team. And that's exactly what happened. In December of 2016, I had listened to a channel that Cryon did about how the Lemurian Sisterhood was going to help humanity heal and balance humanity, and that many of us was going to step up to the plate and be part of the beautiful worldwide global web of women actually awakening to their divineness. When I heard this channel, I knew that I was going to be part of this. I didn't know how, but I knew. And then it was in the spring of 2017 when I actually went to my very first Cryon event. That is when I first met the Cryon team. I met Dr. Amber Wolf, who represented the Lemurian Sisterhood. And of course, I met Lee Carroll, Monica Morani, Marilyn Harper, who channels Adironda, and Joy Roby, who is their business partner. And I fell in love with their frequencies because, you see, they were my soul family. And I knew that I was here to be able to do this work. It was in June of 2017 when I became an authorized host for the Lemurian Sisterhood, representing Western New York. The Lemurian Sisterhood is about helping women remember their Akashic lifetimes as who they are as souls, remember their divineness. It is about balancing the frequency of Mother Earth, the feminine divine frequency, along with the male divine frequency. It is about the earth healing that is happening right now. It is about the change in the magnetic field of planet Earth and what is happening. The Lemurian Sisterhood has awakened my Akashic Remembrance. It has awakened who I really am. And the beautiful star mothers who gave us the beautiful DNA that we have as humans right now. Cryon came to Mother Earth in 1989 as the magnetic master to help humanity at this time as we go through a great shift of consciousness, which means we are starting to awaken as spiritual beings, each and every one of us.
Here's your sign to register and save your seat for the next Lightworkers Connection Circle. The Lightworkers Connection Circle is about living your soul's purpose as a lightworker and connecting with others who are on the same spiritual path. It is a sacred and safe harbor group of lightworkers who are connecting, encouraging, empowering, and supporting human kindness together. The Lightworkers Connection Circle is led by Universal Master Healer Sheila and takes place on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. To save your seat, head on over to sheilatillich.com/lightworkers-connection-circle. You can also find the link to register in the show notes of this episode. Now back to you, Sheila.
And Kryon is here to help us with that. And he has been doing that, helping humanity awaken. The Lemurian Sisterhood is part of the Kryon team, along with many, many other healers and helpers that are on this planet Earth at this time to help awaken spiritually humanity, to help remember the spiritual divineness they have in their souls. Through participating as a Lemurian Sisterhood host, I have had the opportunity to be part of the many Kryon events over the years. And each time I went to an event, I started remembering more. I started tapping into my other lifetimes, Akashic lifetimes, remembering things that had happened to me, and most important, the lessons that I learned from them. You see, I had lived my life in fear for many, many years, and through my own awakening since 1985, I had to deal with those fears. I had to let them go. And I also learned that they were old programs that I had in my cellular structure, meaning, as I said earlier, things that I was brought up with, things that limited me from living my divine purpose. In 2017, I made some different choices in my life. I actually left mainstream healthcare to do my practice full time, my holistic practice of helping people. This is when I went back to school and got my bachelor's in metaphysical science from the University of Metaphysics in conjunction with the University of Sedona. Also in 2017, I became certified as a Heart Math coach through Heart Math Institute in California. Heart Math is part of the Global Coherence Initiative, and Heart Math deals with building resilience against stress and trauma. It is a technique where you learn to connect your heart and your brain together and to be able to be coherent in your frequency field. This was a wonderful time for me because everything was coming together. I could feel my strength getting stronger, and I started seeing a new direction in my life. Through the Lemurian Sisterhood, I started to remember more and more of who I was as a soul and why I was here. 2019 was a very profound year for me, and it opened up more doors in my remembrance. In August of 2019, I was able to be part of the Kryon event in Ottawa, Canada. There, I met the actual host of the Kryon event, Dr. John Ryan. And Dr. John Ryan actually is the founder of Unity Field Healing. I knew that Spirit had me at that event to meet Dr. Ryan, and that it was also a part of my learning that I was going to do as a soul. It also was about more of my awakening. Unity Field Healing is about opening the 24th biospiritual field, the 24th frequency of your DNA in this field. This frequency field helps us heal. And I knew that I was to learn this. So in November of 2019, I went to Ottawa, Canada, and actually was trained by Dr. John Ryan. In the Lemurian Sisterhood, it is about our lifetimes in Lemuria. And our lifetime with our very first parents from the stars, our Pleiadian parents, who gave us the DNA that we have now, the beautiful 23 strands of DNA. But really, we have a multidimensional strand that you cannot see. And this is in the actual chromosomes of our body. And science has proven that there is more to us than just our 23 chromosomes. That we did not come from apes, and that we have a very divine chromosome that is the energy that is here now. This is our spiritual DNA that was given to us by God and by our soul, and what is awakening now. In 2014, I also had the ability to do shamanic training, to be able to connect with Mother Earth and understand about all the elements and the elementals and how it affected us as humans. And the actual indigenous people really was part of who I was. And I knew this. I actually grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and I felt such a connection to the Navajo people and the Pueblo people. And I was in love with the earth. The Lemurian sisterhood is also about the feminine divine ability to be shamans, the awakening of us as true healers, and also how do we use our shamanism. We call ourselves the Sha women. Also, we're called the light workers and the way showers to help humanity awaken at this time. As a Lemurian sisterhood host, I had the opportunity to go back to Ottawa, Canada, to be part of Dr. Ryan's presentation for the Syrian Blue White Collectives. This presentation, before COVID, Dr. Ryan used to have in person, and I actually was invited to come and do the opening prayer from the Star Mothers. This presentation was held on February 13, 2020, and the transmission was going to be about the Star Mothers activating our DNA. This is the night that the Star Mothers came to me and told me who I really was, my true identity as a Galactic Grandmother, and that I would start to openly channel them, openly, which I had been already doing since I was a child. They also communicated to me that the angels were the Star Mothers, the frequency field of the Star Mothers, and that humanity accepted angels, and now they are here to help humanity align with their spiritual DNA, and that I was going to be able to help them as a grandmother. With my knowledge of the DNA in my healing work that I did, they said from now on that I would be transmitting this DNA multidimensional 24th frequency into the transmissions in everything that I did. Whether it was with a meditation or whether it was the people that I help in healing sessions, that I was going to start to transmit this frequency into their cellular memory of their physical body. They communicated my true life purpose is embodying my life as a human galactic grandmother. A human grandmother, meaning the wisdom that I have actually lived, and then also my ability as a shamanic healer to be able to incorporate the healing into humans' frequency field. And this is exactly what has happened. Now, about 1 month after the Syrian Blue presentation is when COVID hit in March of 2020. And it was 1 month after that, in April of 2020, that the Star Mothers came to me and told me that I was going to start a group called the Light Workers. And this group was to help those who are starting to awaken, who started calling themselves Light Workers, awaken to their true divinity, and to help these light workers stay in the positive frequency and to stay out of the drama. Because most light workers are very sensitive and they can feel the frequency. And of course, COVID hit And humanity started going through a whole different paradigm shift of consciousness, meaning things were not the same. And our whole life as we knew it was going to change. We were no longer going to live in the same frequency, and humanity was going to change profoundly. This group is called the Lightworkers Connection Circle, and it is a support circle, a private group of lightworkers supporting one another as we live in this new frequency field on humanity. We share our lives together, and we talk and learn from each other. I also talk about the frequency field at this time, and also about shamanism. What the Star Mothers had me do is actually combined all my work in the Lemurian Sisterhood with the work that I do as a healer, as a universal master healer. This was the new direction that they had for me. As a Galactic Grandmother, my role is to help humanity rebirth to their true identity as divine spiritual souls, to help people awaken their Akashic Remembrance, just like mine had been awakened, to help them awaken their many lifetimes as a soul. My role as Sheila B., Universal Master Healer, is to help others connect to their energy fields. And this is done by my identity as a Galactic Grandmother also. I'm a Galactic Ambassador as a Star Mother, embodying this frequency of love. As a grandmother, I help teach about love, and also I pass on my wisdom as a grandmother. I teach them how to connect with this new energy that is here now, by connecting the frequency that is in the earth below us. This is where the shamanism comes into play, and my actual own frequency as a shamanic healer. How I teach as a Galactic Grandmother is to bring the Earth's energy up through the actual human electromagnetic fields of the body. Then I help them bring this energy through to the top of their body, to the universal energy, the universal galactic quantum energy. This is the God source, the soul connection. So with all this Akashic remembrance, things have happened to me. I now resonate my spiritual frequency at a higher vibration. As I work as a healer, I also do meditations and transmissions through this frequency, and this frequency can be felt. This is my Galactic Star Mother frequency. All that hear my meditations and my frequencies will feel the vibration that I have in my field as a human. And those that listen to me, their soul will recognize that frequency. That is how the healing is and how it happens. All of our souls are connected. We are one with the universal energy. That's why I'm a universal master healer. And I am a Galactic Star Mother, helping humanity heal in a very profound way. So, I hope you have enjoyed this show of Serendipity with Sheila B. and about me sharing my Akashic remembrance of who I am as a human, as a galactic being, and also as a healer, helping rebirth humanity in a very profound way. I am so very grateful, and I am so thankful, and I am so dearly blessed. I'm blessed to be able to live my life openly, to be able to shine my light brightly. And I hope that I have awakened the light in you to live your soul's purpose as a divine spiritual being, as a divine human at this time. Thank you for spending this time with me. And you are so dearly loved. And it is time for you to awaken your own Akashic remembrance. And so it is.